'Cause it's just loose lips. I chat better than I sing, so go ahead and enjoy.
Talk about the spirituality side, because I mean, you've probably said this story a billion times, but it's one of the greatest stories I've heard, and you always bring it up. So I, of course, want to get this scoop as well on loose lips. So the bit where you're on about the feathers.
The what? Which part? The energy that I've seen.
Yes.
Right.
This is what we're here for, mate. Let me get me popcorn.
What we're here for, man.
It's such an incredible story, though. And you know, when you tell it, I can picture it.
Yeah. So right. So basically, I never used to be spiritual, but I was never closed-minded. I just didn't have anything to sort of open me up to it. I didn't have spiritual friends. I didn't have. There just wasn't anything going on around me in my life at that time to even go into spirituality. I wasn't mentally in that place anyway. I was just young, and yeah, I just wasn't even into anything like that. And then,
young and Hull.
Yeah, young and all. But then I ended up going to a beefer, and I took acid for my first. I think it was my first time I took acid. I think it was, or maybe my second, but it was the first time I properly did it. And we was up for like 3 days, but I wasn't trippy or anything after like 24 hours had gone by, and all the trippiness had worn off, but you're still awake on acid. So I was awake for 2 days after that as well. And then it came to like the end of the session, and was in a beefer. We're all in a villa. There was like maybe 30 of us staying in the villa. Everybody's gone to bed. I decided that I wanted to sleep outside on the there's like a big balcony that looked out into S Ventura. It was like a beautiful place. And then I took out a mattress outside, and I just slept outside, looking up at the stars. And I was just like in such like a peaceful state. I had like the best weekend ever. I'd done acid for my first time. I was just like, there was no negative feelings or anything. It was just all positive. And I'm lying there on this mattress, and I'm looking at the stars, and literally from the sky coming towards me, I could just see like, it started off as like a little spiral in the sky like this. And I was like, the fuck's that? And then as I like focused on it, it came closer and closer and closer to the point where it was like giving me a blowjob. It was coming all the way down. It got so close to me that like when I put my it came literally, it looked like it was like there. And I was like, what the fuck? How it looked to me, the only way I could describe it was, it looked like a load of like fluffy, brown, feathery shit getting blown towards you by a fan or something. So imagine like loads of feathers getting thrown in front of a fan. So they're all like, but like it was all synchronistic. So it was like a designed situation. It was designed by something. It weren't like messy or distorted or fucked. Like, oh, what am I seeing? It was like, it was really there, but it was so synchronistic how it all moved, and it was like a pattern, like a geometric pattern, but it was coming towards me. And I was like, I didn't have a clue what it was. I just thought, well, fucking, the acid's obviously kicking back in again. But I was happy with it because it was so nice to look at. But when it came so close, it freaked me out a bit because I was like, whoa, shit, that's like, it's there. It's like it's a presence of something. So I put my hands out, and when I put my hands into it, this whole brown feathery shit just completely covered. Oh shit, sorry, mate. The whole brown stuff completely covered all of my hands, to the point where my hands were like locked into this like thing, and I was like, whoa. I was like, and then I started having like this electricity run through me, like all through my body, and I was just like, it was like a feel, like a euphoric feeling that I was getting, and I was just like stuck like this, and then eventually it just all ended. It stopped, and it just all fell. It fell from the sky and all around my hands, and it just dropped all over my body, and it just faded away. And I was like, whoa, and it was all gone. And I was like, what the fuck was that? I was so amazed by it because I interacted with it. I wasn't just seeing something that was a trip. I interacted with it, and I fucked at this point. So it did really stand out to me. But then I went to sleep. I woke up the next day. I didn't think anything of it. I think I just kind of thought of it like, oh, that was weird, wasn't it? And then just went about my life and just forgot about it. But then maybe a week or two later, I'm at a party, and I'm just at a party with all my friends, and I'm looking around, and there's like that thing that I've seen is like coming into the room, and it's coming around people and stuff, but like perfectly like forming around people, and it's moving in ways that
At
like
this, at this party, are you on stuff as well, or again just like sort of
no,
sobering in?
at this party, yeah, I probably was on stuff then, but I mean, we all were back then, weren't we? I don't think we never wasn't on stuff. So again, obviously, at this stage, I'm seeing the thing again, and I'm like sort of fixated onto it, but I'm also a bit like freaked out because I'm like, oh shit, like, why am I seeing this again? Like, something happened. Like, I started to panic then, thinking, shit, have I done something to like my brain by like taking acid? But I was like freaking out, and then it started to become really, really strong. And I remember going to like the toilet, and I was in the toilet, and like I was looking into the toilet whilst I was having a piss, and it was the lights were off, and there was literally like this energy flying around everywhere, but it had like hieroglyphic language running through it. It had like a language running through it.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the fuck am I seeing? I feel like I'm being shown something, but I don't understand what it is. So I was like, it was unbelievably amazing, but scary because you don't know what's happening to you. So this went on for like this. It got worse and worse and worse for weeks, and it got to a point where I couldn't not see it. When I closed my eyes, I would see it. So I would have my eyes open, and I could see this energy. Well, at the time, I didn't know what it was. It is just energy. I see it everywhere all the time now, but it's just normal. But at that time, I would see it all over, and I'd freak out. I'd be like, whoa, 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 and I'd close my eyes, but I would still see it. It was really, really, like, you couldn't escape it, basically. And I was like freaking the shit out, and I'd speak to all my friends about it. None of my friends would have a clue what I was on about. I didn't even know how to explain what it was. You know what I mean? I wasn't using words like, oh, I'm seeing energy. I was like, I'm seeing this fucking stuff. And they're like, well, what? So I ended up kind of shutting it off then for a while. And it completely sort of left my reality for, I don't know, it's hard to remember now, but it was maybe a month or two. But then I started to miss it because it was so fascinating and beautiful at the same time. I was like, I kind of felt sad. I was like, shit, I hope I get to see that again. As soon as I thought that, mate, it all came flooding back, but like way more than it had. But this time I welcomed it. So as I welcomed it, I started to realize that you can interact with it and you can manipulate it and you can use it in certain ways. But then this is what happened. I started to feel like when I welcomed it, I then started to feel like I could then feel other people's emotions and feelings, which was something that I think we all have the ability to do, but this was on a level that was too much. You can always tell if someone's feeling down or sad or happy, you get that feeling. But like I would be around people and I would be feeling like they are sad or upset when they
were you then mirroring how they were feeling? So if people were upset, were it draining you as well?
No, it wasn't actually. It was at the time it was just kind of, I was confused. I was like, what is happening to me? Like it was like spiritual override. It was like I didn't know what was going on, and it was just overwhelming. And I was like, fuck me, I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm also feeling other people's feelings, which was energy, but at the time I didn't know what it was. I was like, I need someone to like give me some help and understanding. Someone's just said stay off acid. Aaron Wall, no, fuck off. So I needed someone to help me out and to just give me a bit of like insight as to what could be going on with me. So I ended up getting in touch with a friend of mine who was the only spiritual person that I had at the time. And I asked her if she could help me out because I was fucking losing my head. And she said that she was on a 3-month waiting list to go and see this woman who's like a psychic medium channeler. And I mean, I kind of had an idea what they would be, but I didn't really understand the actual reality of how powerful these people would be. So I said to her that I need some help. She then said, I'm on this list. I'm about to see this woman next week. I've been waiting for 3 months. She was like, I'll tell you what, you just have my space. So she actually gave me her position in this list that she'd been waiting for 3 months for. And I was like, I couldn't believe that she actually did that for me. And then I went to see this woman who's called Kim, who's now like one of my best friends in my life. I'm super close with her. And so is a lot of my friends, actually. I've introduced her to like tons of my mates, and they're like Danny, he's really close with her now.
Bliss has mentioned her to me.
Who?
Felicity. She's mentioned it to me.
Bliss is like best friends with her. And when I first met her, she basically lied me down and sucked me off. No. She lied me down, and I had a million questions that I wanted to ask. I had a million things I needed answering, and she she just said, look, lie down. I don't want you to ask me anything. I can tell you've got a lot of things to ask. Just be quiet and I'll tell you everything you need to know without you saying a single thing to me, just so you know that it's coming from your true guides and stuff. And I was like, okay, fucking what? But okay, so I'm lying down, and as she comes over and she's like standing to the left of me, I'm lying down on like on a massage bed. And as she's talking to me, kid you not, mate, this was again was the start of a whole other level of like seeing shit. But as she stood next to me, all these white like I guess they were like, I don't know how to describe it to you. Is imagine like icicle clear crystal white light, right?
Yeah.
That all started to gather around her, and it started to form into like figures of like people, but it weren't people. It was like to me it was just spirits that I was seeing, but it wasn't in your face. You could just see it. It was like made of crystal white light orbs around her. And I was like, whoa. And then she started, then when she closed her eyes, I seen all that. And then she started telling me all the shit about my life. So she went in from me being a kid, from my childhood, how I got brought up, how my parents got divorced. She went into every single part of my childhood, right up to my life, to then in the present day. She told me everything, but I hadn't told her one thing. So she basically told me all my life to the present day. Then she told me, this was before I was going to become a DJ, before I got signed or anything. She was like, you're going to be taken on to a whole musical, what did she say? Like, you're going to be taken into a massive musical industry. You're going to be traveling the world. You're going to be signing records, all this sort of stuff. And I was like, I'm not even told her that I'm a DJ. I'm not even told her that I'm making music. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like blown away by this point. She went into my future, and she basically told me everything that was going to happen in my, not everything, but she gave me guidance for what was coming and stuff like this. And you there? Hi, Mia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got you.
Cool.
So she give you the pointers.
Yeah, so she basically just told me all my life, and then yeah, I was completely like blown away by this experience. She then told me that I needed to go back again to speak to her, and she said I need to go back for, get this. So I didn't have a clue what she was on about, and it sounds stupid, but this is what it was. She was like, and you need to come back for a psychic development class. And I was like, what? And she was like, everything that I can do, she was like, everything that I'm doing now, like Reiki, not me, when she was saying to me, everything that she was doing at the time, like being a medium basically, and a channeler and stuff like this, and a healer, she was like, you can do all of this, but you don't know it yet, because you've never even looked into it. You haven't found that part of yourself yet, but you can do everything that I'm doing, but I need to show you how to do it. And that will start you off on like your journey with it. And I was like, what are you on about? Like, I just didn't get, I knew what she was saying, but I was like, I kind of was hard to believe in. Anyway, I went back to another class of her, well, the second time I went to see her, and she made me sit there with like people I've never met in my life, like literally sit in a room with this. There's one woman in particular she made me sit in front of who I've never met in my life. She was like 50-year-old woman. I was like 20 at the time or something, like 10 years ago. And I'm sat there, and she's like, right, look into her eyes and tell me something about her life. I was like, what? She was like, you can do this. All you need to do is sit there, just calm your mind, look directly into her eyes, and then ask for information on her. And then the first thing that you see, tell her what it is. And she was like, that will be like something that's happened or going to happen in her life. I was like, what are you on about? So I'm sat there with this like older woman, and we're proper just like eyes locked, and I'm like, this is so fucking awkward. But I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go with it. So the first thing that I seen was, she was in a kitchen. In my head, the first thing that I seen, it was like a little daydream, basically. It's like a little memory or a little like vision or something. I seen her in a kitchen with a guy, and she was arguing, and she had the same dress on that she was wearing that day. It was like a blue dress with white flowers on it. And I seen that, and I was like, right, well, I've just seen this. It probably means nothing, but fuck it. And I'm thinking this is bullshit. But she's like sat there, and she's like, yeah, do you know, that's really weird, because she actually said she has a husband. She's like, me and my husband, we never argue, you know. And I was like, see, it's bullshit. But then she was like, but then this morning, I'm not joking, before she came to the class, she had an argument with her husband in the kitchen. And I swear on my mum's life, that's actually what she said. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? I'm looking at Kim. Kim's like, see? And I'm like, fuck off saying see. I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then she made me do it again. And I seen like a little girl with blonde, because the woman had blonde hair. So I seen like this little girl wearing a pink dress with blonde hair, with blonde pink pigtails. And she was like holding like a packed lunchbox for school with her right hand in the air. And in her right hand was a bigger hand of it. It looked like a man's hand. And she was sort of like just like walking whilst holding, I guess, a dad's hand or something. So I said, I seen that. And she was like, it can't be me. Because I thought it must have been her when she was younger. She was like, it can't be me because I never used to wear the colour pink. My parents didn't like me in pink. I don't like pink. And I was like, oh, it's probably fucking out then. But then Kim was like, no. This is correct because she's had a similar vision. And supposedly this woman, maybe she must have been like 40 or something, but I think she was trying for a kid. And Kim said that she's actually been trying for a child. And Kim was saying that they were going to have a child. And this was the child that she was meant to have. So whether that's happened or not, I don't know. But it was just a crazy thing because Kim had seen it as well. But the whole experience for me, mate, was just like mind altering. Like, what the fuck's going on sort of thing.
Is it like a tap now? Can you turn it on and off, or can it just strike you at any time? Do you have like a bit more structure with it?
Yeah, so I mean, you can. I mean, I get feelings all the time on certain things, and I can channel as well. So I can get information, especially when I do Reiki and healings and stuff like that. I can see someone who I've never met before, and I can give them a healing, and I'll be able to tell them exactly what's going on in their life or what's coming up in their life and things to help them with. And I'll see it as a vision, or I'll hear it as in like an information being told to you, but you're not hearing it like through your ears. It's like you have an understanding of what you're being told by something. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's not like every day I'm walking past people, I'm just like, fucking hell, she's got blonde hair and pigtails.
Cause
it's just loose